Ben Zussman, shalom.
Hi, Yoni.
Father of Ben, who fell in battle in the Gaza Strip during this war. First of all, a few words, please, about your son. We all saw his picture. You're soon marking a year since his falling. A few words about him, please.
Ben was our oldest. He was 22 years old when he was killed in Gaza. Ben dedicated a lot of his life to things that were very important for him. Table tennis, like shown behind you. He studied Arabic on his own. He was able to read, write, and talk Arabic. Ben was a special child because he was an amazing communication with us as parents. We shared many thoughts and conversations through the whole army service. I don't think there was one night he didn't call us. As a father, I sometimes lost patience. My Sarit, as his mother, it was a pleasure for her, but they spoke, and we all spoke, but it's more throughout the whole service in the army. Ben was a good friend to many people and made among the years many, many good friends.
Wow. What can you tell us about the incident, what you felt?
Ben, on the Shabbat of the 7th of October, was already finished service.
Wow.
And he was supposed to start in October 13th or 17th in the Special Security Service, starting a course, then to work. So he had no Reserve Army unit to go to. And on October the 7th, in the morning, Sarit and I went to give blood in Mada, already at 9 o'clock. He said he's not going to join us because he's going to try to draft himself. He drafted himself unofficially the same day. Officially, only 19 days later, the paperwork was taken care of. And as part of the comeback unit, he was killed on December the 3rd, right after the first ceasefire, where over 100 captives were released.
And we're really talking about these captives, about the hostages. You came up with an initiative for this Shabbat, to dedicate this Shabbat to pray, to act in the benefit of our hostages. Tell us about that.
So Shabbat Vayeshev, the coming Shabbat, besides the fact that the psukim themselves within the parasha, when the oldest brother realizes that Yosef is no longer in the bor, as the psukim say, and he then went to his siblings and says, what am I going to do and say? How do we take things from this point on? I felt right away that there's something that's calling us on this Shabbos to take action. And I initiated a Shabbos of a so-called theme of a Shabbat Chatufim, but it's reality. And we opened a website. It could be found if you search on Google for Shabbat Vayeshev Hashavat HaChatufim. And there are different initiatives that people could either connect to or initiate their own in their own communities around the country, around the world, with the main message. We all are calling to ourselves and to the leaders that this is the time to get our captives back home.
Now, there's sometimes feels there's two different groups. There's the bereaved families, and there's the family of the hostages, and there's sometimes no even connection between the messages and the demands from each group. But you're saying no. We have to work on this together. You're coming to this initiative as a bereaved father.
I see things in values. I know values, there are different types of values, and people view values differently. So I don't want anybody to understand here that I believe my values are the right values. But when I look at the way I look at values, and the values of life, of arvut, of justice, of moral, of responsibility, to me things connect right away. And today, it gives us one clear message. We must do everything we can to bring the hostages back home.
And you're saying this, I'm saying despite the fact that, as you mentioned, Ben was killed in an area which probably terrorists came back to because, thanks to the ceasefire from the hostage deal, right?
Ben, I spoke to him. I saw him Friday night, 9 days before he was killed, and that was after the ceasefire was announced and hostages were beginning to be released. And I knew from him directly that he was worried that maybe because of such a ceasefire, we'll be receiving back hostages, but soldiers are going to be in danger. Unfortunately, Ben paid the price. Ben was killed in the incident with terrorists in a home where the house was already
Cleaned from terrorists.
cleaned from terrorists twice, even not even once, not only once. But after the case, I know that Ben, the soldiers, the society, the government are there to save civilians and to work for our security. And to me, it's very clear now that if we have civilians and soldiers who are in danger, life danger, in the hands of the terrorists, I know we need them to agree also to release them. But we have to do everything we can from our side. And if I see all that was done since October 7th, successfully by the IDF, by the government, I'm convinced that if the IDF and the government, with the backup of the society, are clear that they're now what they want to do is release hostages, we'll manage to release them. And that's what we have to do.
And from here, as we're having this interview and holding this interview in English, you also call for our viewers around the world to join us on this Shabbat, right?
Obviously, everybody around the world is more than welcome. They could join the website. Together with Mizrahi Olomi, we're also having a live stream from the Kotel, because we're having a prayer in the Kotel this coming Friday at 10 a.m. Everybody's invited. And we'll also have on this website that, again, you could be found on Google, Shabbat Vayeshev HaShavat HaChatufim. There'll be a live stream to the prayer. Everybody's welcome. But again, praying is important, but actions is what's needed.
Tzvi Zussman, father of Ben of blessed memory, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.